Support is a strong word, but I'd vote for him, and for the same reason I would vote for Bernie Sanders or Ron Paul. America needs an old crackpot to shake things up. We've been trading one centrist corporate stooge for another as long as I've been able to vote. Anybody that falls outside of that mold is interesting enough to get my support.
I'm pretty much dead center politically, and the two candidates I must admit I admire is Trump and Sanders. They both seem to speak honesty and directly focus on the issues, not their kids or their being a woman. Do I think Trump will be a good president? No. Will Sanders be a good president? Maybe not. It's unfortunate, but I do respect a candidate who tells it like it is and doesn't sugarcoat everything.
Trump is the only one who talks about imposing import tariffs. It's my reason for supporting him. Fish and seafood that is caught in North American waters are now shipped halfway around the world to be filleted or deshelled before they are shipped back for us to eat. Same with poultry. Chickens raised in the US are now being sent to China for processing first. Let that sink in for a moment. It's cheaper for American companies to load up our food onto ships, send it on a two-way trip half a world away to prep for consumption, than it is to do it locally on the spot. All the corporate incentives in the world won't help to create jobs when other countries can get away with paying their workers fractions of a dollar. Any startup with a tangible product will inevitably move all production overseas when they get big enough. We need to apply import tariffs to make it not worth outsourcing jobs to other countries. I know people will argue that getting into a trade war with China and other countries is bad, that they will return the favor and levy a tariff on American exports. But we don't exactly export anything of abundance besides meat to Mexico. People will argue that protectionism is bad. The leading economies are generally protectionist. We need to bring the middle-class manufacturing jobs back and the supply chains back to the States. It would be tough at first, but much better for the American economy in the long run.
I think the support he has is a symbol of how fed up Americans are with how unbalanced and dishonest the systems have gotten. We want politicians who will actually represent the people, not corporate entities. Even if his honesty is ignorant, it's still a change in the direction of having leaders that aren't completely cynical.
As a legal immigrant, I despise illegal immigrants. At worst, they should be put at the back of the queue. Hillary's offer to legalize them is all pandering.
Look, I know he's nuts, but I can't have freaking Clinton again. She screwed Benghazi, she's a liar, and I'm done with regimes. If Putin, who's also a nutbag, is good for Russia, then to me, Trump is the equivalent. Maybe we need a scary blowhard to threaten and bomb terrorists. He'll just hire economists to run the country. He's a shrewd businessman. Plus, I really dig the openness. Not giving a damn is refreshing. He perfectly captures my middle-class angst. I'm 45 with a family, and I'm taxed to death. I don't care about refugees. I care about affording Christmas, paying my bills, sending my kids to school and piano lessons. If these refugees are oppressed, let them fight back like our colonists did. I'm sick of coming to the world's defense only to be called evil.
I've supported candidates from both parties in the past, and I don't agree with Trump 100%. But when it comes to thousands of Muslims coming over here, I have to say that as a gay man, that worries me. Let's not mince words. Muslims are not at all in favor of gay rights. Sure, some are, I guess, but they're a small minority and they tend to be people who grew up in first world nations. I find it so funny how liberals will, on the one hand, sing the praises of the LGBT community, but then turn around and welcome the most homophobic and bigoted people on the planet. Seriously, look at this chart. 71% of millennial-aged Muslims think that homosexuality should be outlawed. I ask you, please consider for a moment how you would feel if you were in my shoes. How would you feel if your president was allowing God knows how many people into your country who want you dead? I concede that Trump is a stupid blowhard who says whatever crosses his mind, but how many of you have spent years complaining that politicians are too scripted, that they don't say what they believe, or they're too beholden to moneyed interests? Well, Trump is the answer to what a politician would look like without all of those things. Crude and unrefined, but honest. He says what he really thinks, even if it isn't good politics. He isn't right about a lot of things, but he does appeal to me simply because he isn't a politician.